What's your number one obscure animal fact? The American bison is the only animal in which both lungs share a common cavity. In every other animal the lungs are separated. What this meant is that when shot by an arrow, both lungs would collapse and the buffalo would suffocate quickly. For other animals, being shot in the chest would only collapse one lung, and they would at least have a chance. That's why such a large animal could be taken down with relatively small weapons. Every time I think of bison I feel real guilty for killing off the last of them all for money in Red Dead Redemption. A snail has over 2,000 teeth. And they can bite you. I have been bitten by a snail. The Greenland shark reaches sexual maturity at 150 years old and lives 300-500 years. Always fascinates me that there's something that can live that long. They're the oldest living vertebrate. Greenland sharks often go blind due to parasites that specifically target Greenland shark eyes, but the sharks don't mind at all because where they live it's so dark anyway. People thought the okapi was a hoax until it was photographed. In parts of Sumatra it is believed that the orangutan can speak and refuses to do so because they don't want to work. Till I'm an orangutan. Fish have been seen using tools, deliberately hitting a clam with a rock to get it to open so they can eat it. Some fish, eels and groupers, form hunting partnerships where they communicate across the species barrier with specific signals to put their individual strengths to work. The eels chase prey out of crevices to where the groupers are waiting in open water. They also get fooled by illusions in the same way we do, meaning that their brains are processing and interpreting their environment in a similar way to us. That's technically 3 facts, but I like fish. Ants breed and domesticate aphids around their colonies, so they can drink their milky secretions. Aphids are ant cows, so ladybugs, then, would be like ant chupacabras. There are also a variety of ants called slave-making ants that will go scout around for other ant colonies nearby. Then they go on a little ant crusade and invade another colony. They capture the larvae of the target colony and leave with them. The larvae are then tricked into thinking they're originally from the slavers' colony and will serve for it how they normally would have theirs. Seals will get seasick if you put them on a boat. As a fun side note, if you are seasick on a boat you can get rid of it almost instantly by jumping in the water. Dragonflies have the best successful kill rate of any creature on Earth. Cheetahs are so closely related to each other that you can freely transplant organs between all members of their species without needing immunosuppression. All aggressively inbred. Sloth hands work opposite to ours. They have to exert energy to open their fist and relax to close it. This is how they can hang from trees while they're sleeping and not fall off. This is also how a bat's talons work. Opossums were originally found in the eastern and central parts of the United States until the 1930s when they were intentionally transported to the western portion to be used as food during the Great Depression. There aren't a lot of bees in Australia, so for pollination plants relied on birds. Birds see the color red better, which in turn increased the flora reproduction rate. This is why a lot of plants are red in Australia. We do have little native bees though. They are super small, less than 5mm long. Ancient penguins could have been up to 7 feet tall. Polar bears are so efficient at storing vitamin A, consuming polar bear liver can cause death. One polar bear liver contains enough vitamin A to kill 52 adult humans. Polar bears are also primarily left paw dominant, in case you ever need to guess which paw they will attack with, or which paw they will hold a pen with. Dogs may make social judgments about people based on how those people treat their owners. A study out of Japan had dog owners asking 2 people for help opening a container. There were 3 possible outcomes. A person reacting negatively by refusing and turning away, a person remaining neutral and a person helping. The dogs were then offered food from the people the owner had approached for help. Dogs were much less likely to accept food from the people who had refused to help their owners, and much more likely to accept food from those who had been neutral or who had helped. Flatworms are male and fence with their penises. The loser gets stabbed with the winner's penis and becomes pregnant. They are actually hermaphroditic, and being the one to have to carry babies is very taxing, so they will fight to not have to do that. Some squid have toroid-shaped, donut, brains, and their esophagus, throat, passing through it. If they eat something too big they can get brain damage. Same with insects. It's because they are protostomes. Mouth develops before the arse. Naked mole rats are very frickin' weird animals. They don't feel pain at all, except for chili. They can survive 30 minutes without oxygen. They can't regulate their body temperature. Their incisors can work independently. No one has ever found cancer in a mole rat. They are thought to be immune to it. They can live for 30 years. Which is a big fricking deal. Most rodents or small mammals have a lifespan of only a couple of years. These guys can't feel pain, are immune to cancer and live 5-10 times as long as their peers. They are the key to immortality. Gorillas all masturbate after they win a fight against another gorilla. Same. And this is why I am no longer allowed to compete in MMA. Honeybee queens sing when they hatch. Snapping pistol shrimps and their colonies are so loud that they can interfere with sonar used by other animals and submarines. They also create tiny but incredibly powerful implosions through the sheer force of their pincers closing ludicrously fast, which is cool. It's actually an implosion, not an explosion. They create a tiny vacuum bubble which is then quickly collapsed by the very high pressure of the surrounding water. Tasmanian devils can carry a type of cancer that is contagious. Bats are more maneuverable flyers than birds. Some stores will only sell gerbils in pairs because they get very lonely. I think it was in Switzerland where it's forbidden by law to only keep one guinea pig. The loneliness is considered animal cruelty. The warrior wasp sting was described by biologist Justin Schmidt, creator of the Schmidt Sting Pain Index, as torture. You are chained in the flow of an active volcano. Why did I make this list? It was also considered traumatically painful on the star sting pain scale. According to Coyote Peterson, Brave Wilderness, who made videos about him being stung by the most painful insects in the world, the warrior wasp sting isn't nearly as bad as the bullet ant. Being stung by the bullet ant feels like you're being shot and the pain can last for up to 24 hours. It hurts to even think about it. A green sea turtle can swim faster than Usain Bolt can sprint. An animal out there with a house for a body can swim at speeds we don't allow in playground zones 35 miles per hour. Yeah, but Usain Bolt can swim faster than a green sea turtle can run. Porcupines climb trees and come down backwards and use their tail to feel for the ground. Sometimes their tail will hit a branch and they will think it is the ground and so they will jump off and impale themselves. Over time they evolved to have antibiotics in their quills so when they fall out of trees they don't die. Instead of just evolving to climb down facing the ground. Scientists thought the platypus was a joke until they sent a dead one back to be studied. One of the scientists of the time actually took a knife to the dried pale to search for stitches. They thought it had to be a prank with different animals sewn together. Sharks have existed on the planet longer than trees. Coral is an animal, related to jellyfish. Many coral species have a symbiotic relationship with a microorganism called zooxanthellae, which lives in their tissue and photosynthesizes like a plant, converting light into organic energy. Corals also deposit calcium carbonate and build huge geological structures, called reefs. The most massive structure ever created by any living organism on planet Earth is a coral reef. Corals are like a cross between animals, plants, and rocks, and they're incredibly important for the health of our oceans, because reefs serve as a nursery for many marine species. Save the reefs. A narwhal's horn is actually an overgrown canine tooth. Also some narwhals can have 2 horns. Snails can sleep up to 3 years. Crows are absurdly intelligent. We all know they have very good problem-solving skills, like throwing a nut onto a road and picking the remains when the lights turn red. But they have social structure. They punish crows who have stolen food from younger crows. They avoid areas where a lot of crows have died. They don't court during funerals. And when a crow dies, its buddies come examine the corpse to see how it died so they can avoid a similar fate. Yes, crows understand the concept and are afraid of death and try to avoid it at all times. To add to this list, crows have been found to keep a like-dislike list of people. If you're routinely nice to crowd they remember and will treat you in kind. If you're a dong to them, well they will repay that accordingly too. Mother pandas and zoos pretend to be pregnant to get more food from the staff. When a baby giraffe is born, it drops up to 6 feet to the ground and lands on its head. Dogs sneeze when they are playing with humans to show that they are in fact playing and not being aggressive. Some species of burrowing tarantula let tiny frogs live in their burrows. The frogs are kept safe by the big, mean-ass spider, and in exchange, they keep the burrow free of pests too small for the tarantula to deal with. This is pretty much how cats were domesticated. Tiny frogs are tarantula cats. The animal with the largest male appendage per body size is the barnacle. There's a parasite that needs to get inside a warm-blooded animal. Problem is, it lives in fresh water. It waits to get swallowed by a fish, then it attaches itself inside, takes over a part of the host's brain, adjusting its behavior so the fish is not longer afraid of shadows. The fish is then more likely to get eaten by a heron, large bird that stalks freshwater fish, and the parasite gets inside its warm-blooded host and does Lord knows what. Thanks to Ricky Gervais for that. I think I might have butchered it a bit, but it's roughly along those lines. Here's a bonus one. Researchers took a leech, put it in a maze and put food at the other end. Eventually the leech figured out the route. They then liquidized the leech, fed that leech to other leeches, and those leeches were able to complete the maze on the first try. They had acquired the other leech's memory. And I was sure 40k was taking it too far with Space Marines. The pistol shrimp. Like every other shrimp, the pistol shrimp has 2 claws. However, its right claw is much bigger than its left. When the pistol shrimp claps its oversized claw together, it produces a sound of approximately 219 decibels. A shot from a gun ranges between 140-180 decibels, depending on the gun. This makes the pistol shrimp the loudest animal on the planet. Not only does it produce such a loud sound, it also shoots bubbles when it claps its claw, which it uses to shoot its prey with. When these bubbles collapse, a heat of 4,700 degrees Celsius is released. The surface of the sun is 5,500 degrees Celsius. What the frick, that is so badass. Female ferrets die within a month if they don't have sex with their male counterparts. Horny motherfuckers. Unless they are spayed. Basically, when they go into heat, they stay in heat until they are impregnated. And if they don't become pregnant, they die of exhaustion because being in heat takes a toll on the body. Spay and neuter your pets, but especially your ferrets. Fish keeping is a gateway to an untapped goldmine of obscure, useless, and easily demonstrable animal facts. Freshwater in particular is great for this, because there's a lot of weird stuff that ends up in the hobby, and you just tend to learn about it as you get more into it. Did you know that electric catfish exist? They're weird looking and a tad stupid, but they do in fact generate offensive electric shocks. Electric eels are not in fact eels, but rather South American nifferfish, a group which contains several species of electricity generating fish, though none as potent. Bitches are a group of primitive freshwater fish that have basic lungs, lobed, limb-like paired fins, and, while in the larval state, feathery external gills like a salamander. All things I learned just as a hobbyist. The echidna's penis has 4 heads and a baby echidna is called a puggle. Wombat crap is cubed. Stoats hunt for fun and live in the dens of things they kill. What a power move. Opossum are basically immune to most toxins, and you can give other animals, including humans, temporarily immunity using their serum. My number 2 fact is that wombats poop cubes, but don't have square assholes. You've been visited by the good sleep chihuahua. You will be blessed with cozy restful sleeps, but only if you comment sleep tight puppers. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.